He opened his eyes to silence. No sirens, no screams. The Avengers Tower was in ruins, and every street carried ashes. Spider-Man was alive, but not from this timeline. Captain America's shield was shattered and buried. Iron Man's helmet hung on a cross like a warning. The world blamed him, the spider, for the fall. But Peter didn't remember anything until he found a message from himself. Don't trust Dr. Strange. The sky wasn't blue anymore. It was burned, stained with ash and a silent red hue that never moved. The sun was stuck like a photograph, hanging over a New York that wasn't alive. Spider-Man stood in the middle of Times Square. But there were no people, no horns, no screams, just silence and bones. Not skeletons, just shadows of them. Burn marks shaped like people, frozen in panic mid-step, scorched into the concrete. Peter looked down at his hands. This wasn't his suit. It was sleek, armored, sharp, not the cloth he remembered. Black veins pulsed through its red web surface, and on his forearms, glowing gauntlets he'd never built hummed with energy he couldn't name. His voice cracked behind the mask. Hello. No answer. Not even an echo. He webbed to the top of a crumbling building. The Empire State was gone. Avengers Tower was hollowed out. The A logo fallen, snapped in half. One part of it was embedded in the side of a train car on 43rd Street like a spear. Then the wind carried sound. A loop. A message garbled, repeating from a busted speaker outside a subway entrance. You did this, Spider-Man. You did this, Spider-Man. He swung down. The voice was mechanical, full of static. He ripped the panel off the wall. It wasn't even a speaker. It was a repurposed Iron Man drone head, broken and buried in rubble. The eyes flickered. The mouth repeated the line. You did this, Spider-Man. Peter yanked the power source. The voice died, but in the silence, his heart screamed. He ran, across broken streets, past abandoned tanks, over posters showing his own face, but marked with black XS. He reached what was left of Avengers Tower. The doors twisted open. The elevator shaft was hollow. He leapt floor by floor, up the spine of the once proud monument. Inside the war room, the table was cracked in two. A Captain America shield lay in the center, but not the full thing. Just the top curve, burned, melted, and snapped like a plate. Blood stained the edge. On the wall was a single carving, scratched into steel like a dying warning. Time broke because you let it. His fists clenched. What is this? What happened? The suit responded before he realized it could. A display opened on his right arm, holographic, foreign. It scanned his vitals. Status, unknown. Location, Earth 616. Error, timeline conflict detected. That's when he noticed the grave. Not outside. Right there, behind the war table. Inside what used to be a weapons locker. A small burial mound of metal, half covered by Captain Marvel's sash. And a nameplate hammered in with broken arrows. Tony Stark. He tried to warn you. Peter dropped to his knees. No, no, no. He dug through the metal. Underneath, not a body, but a helmet. Iron Man's, cracked in half. A burned message inside the visor. If you're reading this, you're too late. Peter staggered back. He stumbled through the building until he reached a destroyed lab, where Strange had once left a sigil burning in the floor. It was still there, glowing faintly, but covered in something else now. Webbing. His own. What the hell's going on? He gasped. His suit beeped again. A message had unlocked. Audio only. A voice his own. Older, angrier, tired. You're awake, which means it happened. Listen. Don't go back to Strange. Don't touch the seal. Don't think you can fix it. I tried. You'll try. And that's what starts it again. We all died trying to stop what's coming. But you broke the chain. You survived. A pause. So let me say it clearly. You're the reason they're gone. Because you believed you could save everyone. And that belief killed them. The message ended. Peter screamed and punched the wall. The whole tower shook. Glass fell from the ceiling. The web sigil pulsed once, like it hurt him. He ran out of the tower. He didn't even know where he was going. until he saw the one place he hadn't checked yet, the Sanctum Sanctorum. It still stood, somehow untouched, but blackened, as if every wall had been burned from the inside. He kicked the doors in. Inside, nothing moved. No cloak of levitation, no wand, no lights, just dust and a skeleton in the corner, draped in a red cape. Peter fell beside it. It was strange. The Eye of Agamotto was crushed. Pages from the Book of Vishanti floated in the air, frozen mid-burn. On the wall, a clock ticked. Not just ticked, glitched. It spun backwards, then forward, then stopped. Peter looked closer. There was webbing on it too, spiraled like a time loop trap. "No," he whispered. "Please no." But the sigil behind the body lit up. A new message, projected from the floor, and it showed himself. Spider-Man, but warped, face scarred, one eye glowing, speaking like a villain. "Welcome to your second chance, Peter. You think this is the future? No, this is the punishment." Peter turned. Behind him, a mirror cracked itself, and in it, he saw dozens of reflections of himself, dead, burned, some with blood on their hands. One of them whispered, "You killed them all. Start remembering." And the city outside the sanctum began to change. The Avengers weren't just dead. Time itself had buried their legacy, and Peter Parker was the only one left to unearth it. The mirror shattered, not from impact, but from recognition, as if time itself couldn't hold the truth reflected inside. Peter staggered back as shards floated around him, hovering midair like weightless glass knives. Each piece reflected a different Spider-Man, one with a missing mask, one with blood on his claws, another with a hollow chest where the symbol used to be. One shard hovered closest. Peter leaned in. His own reflection whispered, "You've already failed, but maybe this time you'll listen." The shard vibrated, then burst into a flash of red light, and the suit on Peter's body responded. Lines glowed across his arms and chest, forming a circuit-like pattern. Then a holographic menu opened from his gauntlet. Locked with key memory file, P1999.x, locked. Facial match detected. Authorized. Playback initiating. The floor beneath him lit up. A projection formed, and he saw himself, but older, face cracked with age. Left eye glowing orange with embedded tech. Right arm replaced with what looked like Stark's nanite tech fused with Wakandan vibranium. The voice was unmistakable, Peter Parker, but full of rage. "So, you're still hopeful. Let me kill that now." The hologram Peter walked slowly in a ruined version of the sanctum, a past version of this very room. The others are gone, dead, not missing, not hiding, gone. Strange thought, he could rewind it. Tony built a failsafe. Cap tried diplomacy. Chala warned the council. And me, I believed. Peter clenched his fists. What happened? The hologram glared directly at him, as if answering. "You happened." Flashes played around the projection. Images from a fractured past. Doctor Strange opening a forbidden tome. A time gate tearing open above the sky. A young Peter stepping through it, trying to fix what went wrong. And then, Tony falling from the sky with his arc reactor crushed. Thor screaming as lightning bent against him. Scarlet, which vaporized mid-sentence. And Strange sealing Peter outside of the collapse. "You were the variable," the older Peter snarled. "You thought you could undo the loss. Save May. Save Natasha. Save them all. You pushed the spell too far, and time snapped." Present Peter gasped. He remembered none of it, only glimpses, echoes. But his body felt it, like scars inside his bones. The message continued. "You were the last survivor, but you refused to die. So you made a choice. You copied your mind into the multiverse. Thousands of you spread across broken timelines, all searching for one where it ends differently. This one, this Earth, it's the last loop. And it always starts the same, with Strange." Peter screamed. "Then what do I do?" The hologram paused. Then it smiled. "You break the pattern." The floor beneath him cracked open. A platform rose, and hovering above it was a mask. His own. but reshaped, reforged. The eyes were slashed. The webbing pattern twisted in spiral loops. And in the center of the forehead, a small sigil glowed, the same one Strange had drawn into the time loop circle. The suit on Peter's body pulsed. Warning, upgrade detected. Install fragment? Yes/no. He didn't hesitate. Yes. The mask split apart and dissolved into his chest. The suit's veins lit up, gold and crimson intertwining like DNA strands. The gauntlet on his right arm activated a new submenu. Spider Protocol, Spider Code Breaker. Objective, intercept timeline gate. Warning, temporal collapse in T-72 minutes. Peter stumbled backward. A countdown. This loop, this world, was collapsing again. And in 72 minutes, it would restart. Another version of him would wake up. Again. Alone. Again. In a ruined future. Again. He clenched his fists. Not this time. The sanctum's walls began to tremble. Energy sparked from the corners. The books on the shelves burned backward, fire unburning itself into paper. Reality was unspooling. He raced out. The streets of New York were glitching, cars frozen midair, streetlights flickering between modern steel and 1950s lanterns. A man's scream echoed from nowhere, then reversed into laughter. Peter webbed toward the one place that still made sense. The X-Mansion. It was a ruin too, but it was shielded. Cyclops had once built an anti-time chamber there to train young mutants. If anything had survived the collapse, it was buried there. He landed hard in the courtyard. The gates were bent, the school's symbol charred. Inside, skeletons lined the halls, not of humans, but mutant sentinels, half burned and half melted. Someone had fought here, hard. He reached the basement. It was locked, but his new suit responded. The walls scanned his body, then dissolved into pixels. Inside was a vault. Floating in zero-gravity stasis was Cerebro's black box. Still blinking. Peter grabbed it. The moment he did, it sent out a signal, a psychic burst that exploded behind his eyes. And he saw them. All of them. Tony, Steve, Natasha, Bruce, Chala, Thor, Carol, Strange, Logan, all dead, all by him. Not directly, but because he lived when he wasn't supposed to, because he tried to change time and couldn't handle the consequences. Then a final flash burned into his skull, a symbol, a door, and 3 words: Strange, must, die. He collapsed to the floor, eyes burning, not from the message, but from the truth. It wasn't about saving them. It was about stopping himself from ever trying again. He stood up, legs shaking, heart hollow. But his fists tightened. I don't care what version of me started this. He turned toward the broken timeline, gate hidden under the ruins. But I'll be the one who ends it. Behind him, Cerebro cracked and released a final whisper into the air. He knows you remember now. Peter didn't look back, because the countdown was down to 61 minutes. And the loop had to break before time remembered how to kill him all over again. The city wasn't healing. It was folding. Every street Peter crossed cracked deeper into itself. Lampposts twisted into spirals, traffic lights flickering between red and ultraviolet. Buildings jittered like video footage skipping frames. And above it all, the sky pulsed in and out of focus like a dying eye. The countdown on his suit kept ticking. 53 minutes until collapse. He landed in what was left of Midtown. The Sanctum Sanctorum loomed again, but this time, the city wasn't letting him in easy. A temporal barrier now surrounded it, glowing gold with distorted runes that didn't sit still. 1 second they were ancient symbols, the next math equations. Peter stared into it. The voice in his suit spoke. Temporal anomaly detected. Warning, looping defense spell, author Stephen Strange. He reached out, letting his hand hover near the edge. His fingers cracked the surface and were nearly ripped apart. Flesh pixelated, blood froze, nerves screamed. He yanked back just in time. The spell rejects you, the suit said, because the spell remembers you. He paced back. If Strange built this after the fall, he was hiding something inside. If he built it before he knew this was coming. Either way, it meant only one thing. Strange had lied. Peter scanned the perimeter. There had to be a flaw, a glitch, something that would let him back into the sanctum without being disintegrated. And then he saw it. In the alley beside the sanctum, a faint black scorch mark in the shape of a handprint. Wong's. He'd taught Peter the emergency bypass once. Only usable if time itself was fractured. Only usable by someone outside the spell. And that's what Peter had become. He touched the mark, closed his eyes, whispered the phrase Wong made him memorize like a joke years ago. Tempest? More like Dumpus. The rune barrier blinked, and then opened. He stepped inside. The sanctum was different now. No longer just a magical haven. It had become a nexus reactor. Wires ran along the walls like spiderwebs, but not magical. Stark tech, vibranium conduits, time stone fragments, and in the center of it all was Strange. Alive, floating, eyes wide, arms folded, hovering in midair with rings of corrupted sigils swirling around him. His face was pale, but conscious. He saw Peter enter, and he smiled. Took you long enough. Peter didn't speak. He marched forward. What did you do? He growled. Strange descended slowly, robes billowing like ash in reverse. What I had to, he said. You think I let the world die? No, Peter. I saved it. Over and over. And each time, you were the variable that broke it. Peter's hands trembled. You let the others die. Strange walked past him toward a console, half magical, half machine. He pressed his hand to it, and a projection of the timeline appeared midair. Threads twisted, some glowing, some broken. He pointed to one glowing with red. This was the loop where Cap betrayed the treaty. It failed. He swiped. This one, where Wanda resurrected Vision with the Mind Stone. It failed. Swipe. This one, where you begged me to erase your identity from the world. That failed worst of all. Peter's voice cracked. I didn't want anyone to get hurt. Strange looked at him. But they all did. Because of you. Because you never learned to let go. Peter stepped closer. You don't get to blame me for your bad endings. Strange's eyes darkened. You're not listening. I ended them, Peter. Before they broke worse. Peter froze. Strange turned to him, fully now. I've been pruning the timelines. Like weeds. To stop the multiverse from tearing apart. To keep a core Earth alive. And every time I spared you, this happened. He waved his hand, and the sanctum's walls became windows. Peter saw New York across dozens of timelines. One burned. One drowned. One swallowed by black symbiote goo. One ruled by Ultron. One frozen in time. All versions of Earth destroyed. All timelines where Spider-Man lived. Strange snapped his fingers. The images vanished. You're a fracture, Peter. A good soul with too much power and too many regrets. Peter's fists flared with energy. I came here to fix this. To break the loop. Strange's expression didn't change. Then you'll have to kill me. Peter blinked. What? Strange raised both hands. The sanctum shook. I am the loop. And just like that, the walls exploded outward. Not physically, temporally. Peter was flung into a living memory, standing in the middle of a battle he'd never seen before. The Avengers fighting him. He watched as his alternate self, scarred, furious, wielded Strange's power like a weapon. Golden runes mixed with red webbing as he slung time like ropes, trapping Thor in a zero-gravity loop, choking Hulk with chronal feedback. Tony screamed at him. Peter, stop, this isn't the way. But that Peter didn't listen. He looked into Strange's eyes and burned the book of the shanty mid-spell. Reality collapsed. The scene ended. Peter landed back in the sanctum, on his knees, breathing hard, skin shaking. He looked up. Strange was watching him. Calm. You were the one who broke time. I just built the cage to hold it. Peter stood slowly. His suit lit up. The sigil on his chest blinked red. The timer ticked. 43 minutes left. Then why bring me back, he asked. Why let me wake up here? Strange walked past him again, hands behind his back. Because this time, you're the one who remembers. You might be able to break the loop from inside. Kill me. Kill yourself. Shut down the anchor spell. Any of it might work. He turned to Peter. But if you fail again, the next loop will begin, and you'll wake up in ruins once more, with less time, with fewer chances. Peter stared at him. And what happens if I walk away? Strange smiled softly. You won't. Peter's suit formed a blade from his arm, sharp, webbed, humming with unstable power. Strange's hands ignited with golden energy, but unstable too, fused with something darker. The sanctum shook as reality bent, and between two former allies, time prepared to break again. Peter didn't kill Strange. He couldn't. Not yet. But the sanctum exploded anyway. Not from magic, from overload. The reactor hidden beneath its foundation ruptured as the timeline counter hit 37 minutes. A wave of corrupted energy swallowed the building, ripping the sky open in a jagged black gash. Peter escaped through it, not by choice, but by force. He tumbled into a dead zone outside time. A void, buildings suspended mid-collapse, helicopters frozen mid-explosion, people mid-scream, unmoving, weightless. A purgatory between moments. The final fragments of a timeline on life support. In the center of it all, a beacon. Old Wakandan tech. Still active. Still humming. Peter landed near it. The suit on his body sparked and adjusted for atmosphere. This place wasn't real air anymore. It was memory, liquefied and rewritten. He reached the beacon and scanned it. It was fused with Vision's core, reinforced with vibranium, and pulsing with the last readable signal on Earth. Not GPS, not StarkNet, just 3 words repeating in code. He is alive. Peter's breath caught. There were no Avengers left. Not here, not in this loop. But someone had survived. Or worse, rebuilt itself from the pieces of everyone else. He followed the signal to the only structure still standing. A jagged black dome on the edge of fractured Manhattan, shaped like a cocoon. The gates were made of metal, bone, and lightning rods. Fused tech from Thor, Cap, Panther, Stark, Strange. The inside was colder than space. There were no walls, just a floating chamber. And in its center, a body, built from parts. Not robotic, not human, something in between. Stark's arc reactor beat in its chest. Thor's lightning veins glowed faintly in its arms. Cap's shield formed part of its back. Chalia's claws. Wanda's red mist. Vision's mind core embedded in its head. Peter stepped forward. It turned. No eyes. No voice. But he felt it in his spine. You are not the first spider. The voice didn't echo. It folded into thought. The creature didn't speak with sound. It broadcasted like broken AI connected to a dead god's heartbeat. Peter backed up. What are you? The thing stepped down from its floating pedestal. Its hands shifted as it walked. Claws, webs, hammers, fists. All recognizable. All from the past. I am what remains when belief dies and memory forgets. They left pieces behind. I collected them. I am their silence. Peter raised a trembling hand. You're using their powers. Why? The thing tilted its head. Because I was made to remember what you refused to accept. You let them die, Spider-Man. And now, I wear their ghosts. Peter's mask shifted. I didn't. You did. Lightning surged through the dome. The creature moved faster than Peter could react, slamming him through 4 layers of memory walls. Sparks exploded as his suit struggled to recalibrate. Peter fired a web. It burned midair. The creature countered with pure vibranium, slicing across his chest and activating the time sigil embedded in his suit. The countdown flashed red. 27 minutes. Peter hit the ground hard. You're not one of them, he roared. The creature stood above him, eyes now glowing faintly with a dozen colors. No, I'm the one they became, because you survived. Peter didn't get up. The air in the dome was heavier than gravity. His lungs screamed. His suit flickered. The countdown glowed like a curse across his HUD. 21 minutes left. The creature paced in front of him. Each step echoed with every hero's voice. Stark's confidence, Chalia's calm, Thor's thunder, Wanda's pain, Steve's silence. Peter coughed blood onto the floor. "You're not them." The thing tilted its head. "I never said I was. But you're still pretending to be." It extended a hand, not to help, but to offer. "Merge, fuse, rebuild what's left of the multiverse. Let me overwrite what you destroyed." Peter stared at the creature's fingers, pulsing with the remnants of the dead. Every timeline he'd failed. Every mistake engraved into muscle and memory. Then he stood, slowly, broken, but burning. "No." The word echoed like a flare. His suit responded, unlocking its final failsafe. The spider sigil on his chest tore open, and from it rose a second skin, black gold, laced with crimson strands of webbing and time energy. Not a suit made by Stark, a suit made by all his failures. "I won't run from what I caused," Peter said, "but I won't let you rewrite them either." The thing lunged. Peter met it midair. The explosion shook the dome, shattering every wall into glass fractals of memory. Each punch carried weight, not just muscle but legacy. Vibranium met venom. Web met hammer. Arc reactor clashed against time fracture gauntlets. They crashed through dimensions. Peter was flung into one reality, where he was the only hero Earth ever had. The streets held statues of him, but they were burning. Another where he never took the bite, and the Avengers still lived, but didn't know him. A third, where he killed Thanos with his bare hands and still lost Aunt May. Each moment cracked him open, but each time he refused to let go. The creature snarled, voice breaking, "You never deserved to survive. You are why they fell." Peter grabbed its throat. "Then why did you become me?" "Because you never finished the fight." The countdown hit 3 minutes. Time ruptured. Reality curled in on itself. And then silence. The creature collapsed. Peter stood over it, panting, broken, hollow. He placed his palm over its chest. A memory unlocked, not from the creature, but from himself. A final message. From Strange. The anchor to the loop was never the spell. It was you. You kept coming back. Because you couldn't forgive yourself. Peter cried. And for once, not out of pain, but release. "I forgive me," he whispered. The loop shattered. The dome disintegrated. The sky turned blue. Not a perfect world, but a new one. No Avengers. No creature. Just Peter. Alive. And finally, free.